So I'll start.
Yeah.
Balanced existence will not come. An awareness that I am He is not going to make me any better so far as the world is concerned. We feel that we are the integral part of the divine. That is the further maturity to I am He. In what sense I am He? As a part of His being, I am He. My hand cannot say it is not Narayana. It has to say only Narayana if it has got a voice. It can only say it is Narayana. Which part of Narayana? Then it will say the hand part of it. The right hand part of it or the left hand part of it. Either this finger or that finger. So when we say that I am He, I am moving on the concept, onto the concept of I am a part of His. So the part whole relationship about which we talked about in the second knot really becomes an experience in the third knot. And further it moves on like that. These are the various shades and attitudes that we go through. Now, if it is not going to be an interactive session and going to say this is what I practice, I think I have to end up here because these are all the stages I have gone through personally, which I have made notes. So I thought I could share with you. But the main problem is one of whether we are clear about our goal. Are we talking liberation? Are we talking something else? I will talk about liberation and simultaneously I will think about prosperity, material prosperity. This does not. One is a Artharthi and the other is a Moksharthi. So, how are we going to reconcile the concept of flying with both the wings? This is another question that comes to us. Knowing the limits of material and knowing also the unlimitedness nature of the infinite is the balance that we are trying to strike, about which I have talked about in balanced existence. There's a very delicate balance that we have to maintain. Now, having come to know that He is the Master, that He is our guide, that He is the person who is taking us to higher realms of consciousness, would you call this an enlightenment or not an enlightenment? It is a question that you have to answer for yourself. If I remember right, long, long back when I was in the mission, when Kumaraswamy was a center in charge, I'm talking somewhere around 1974, 1975, I had an occasion to talk to him. Then I said, when we have found a master who is leading me on the path, to that extent I am realized. And I went on further to say, I do not recognize any person other than Babuji Maharaj. That was the function on Basant. I told I am not going to recognize any person other than Babuji Maharaj for the only reason Lalaji Maharaj is merged in him. And I know only one person, and he is Babuji. A statement of mine which has been misquoted and misread. I am least bothered of what they have done and what you may think, but basically we have got only single pointed orientation. I'll take a pause here.
Sir, who was Mr. Kumar Swamiji?
He was a senior preceptor of Hyderabad in the early 60s and 70s. Because Vivek, the sir's point here, we have to reflect deeply about single-pointed orientation. Without single-pointed orientation, yoga is not possible. Yoga is merging of human consciousness with divine consciousness. So if you have a concept that divine can be represented by Lalaji, Babuji, Buddha, Vishnu, and all that, several objects you have in your mind. So it cannot be one-pointed. You have to take one of them which catches your fancy, and on only on that point, if you rest your attention, then only yoga becomes possible. You cannot have multiple. You cannot have one-pointed orientation on multiple objects. It has to be only one object, and either it is divine light, that's all, or for some people who had who had an experience that the guru itself is the goal. Either the guru, you can take guru as God himself and then meditate on the guru, because or divine light. Actually, it is divine light only. God is the goal, and guru catches your hand and takes you to the goal, actually. But the guru was of such a high caliber, people who took him as the goal itself were not disappointed. They realized their goals, spiritual goals, actually. But that's a rare thing, no? You cannot always have a personality of that refinement, actually.
That caliber.
Now our goal should be God realization, and then that's all. And then we try to absorb the thoughts of the master, Babuji Maharaj, and then see that, we imbibe his thoughts in us, which will make us easily follow the path and then reach our goal.
Correct. Even during the celebrations, whether it is Janmashtami or Basant Panchami, sir always used to emphasize
only one point, yes.
That this is, it's fine, we are reading the books and all that, but we have to maintain the focus on the thoughts of Babuji.
Yeah, because mind you, I mean, whoever Lalaji, Babuji has made so many trainers and all that. In all of them, the divine was working only. So we should be oriented to the divine in their consciousness, which was nothing but a reflection of Babuji's consciousness in them. So we should link it back to Babuji, so that it will be no confusion in our mind, and then we can practice one-pointed orientation.
Correct.
Like Sir was there. Sir has given us practical guidance. But we have to view Sir as the consciousness of Master, which is absorbed in Sir's consciousness, and only that consciousness was helping us. So each person is unique in his own way. I mean, like Dharmesh is different. I am different. Dr. Dakshamu, each will have a different personality. I'm a surgeon. You are a software professional. But there is a common factor in us. That common factor is the divinity.
Correct.
So that divinity in Sir was helped us, actually.
Absolutely.
And he was great in the sense he was a great sadhaka. He was very determined. He used all his energies to serve the master and then master the subject so that he can guide us better. In that sense, he was very, very helpful to make us understand better the Babuji Maharaj, actually. That's right.
Correct. He used to acknowledge also that his way of crying to the master or singing to the master could be different from what we could have. But I mean,
each person is different. All of us are different people, but we each of us in our own way we try to pray to God. So at a certain level, as you cross into the Brahmanda universal consciousness, like if you are living the sixth commandment, that is, you will develop universal love. At that stage, there will be no difference between your thinking and my thinking, anybody's thinking. Only when ego is there, there will be difference of thinking. There will be, you'll say your interpretation of Babuji is better, your interpretation of the system is better. And I will say that, no, you're wrongly interpreting, you're wrongly following the method. So there'll be clash because of egoism. But once you transcend the egoism, all of us will speak the same language. So all the interpersonal, institutional problems arise because of lack of spiritual growth actually. Okay.
Yeah, so true, sir. I'll go ahead.
Yeah.
So I'll just set the context. So I'll read the last statement.
Yeah.
So for continuity, I am least bothered of what they have done and what you may think, but basically we have got only single pointed orientation. I have three. One is my own revered father, who is the person who is guiding us in this particular path or the order in which we are. The other is the Supreme Personality, and the third is Lalaji. Is Lalaji a realized person or not is a question if we can put. If special personality is the criteria for being realized, Lalaji is not, because he was never a special personality. He is not a special personality. He will never be a special personality. His role as a guru of Babuji Maharaj is well understood. He carved out a special personality. He is a maker of special personality. Himself not one. This is a subtle distinction we have got to have clarity on this. Is Vardachari an enlightened person or not? If you put this question, if you are going to have if you are going to give particular characteristics that he should be a special personality or be enlightened, he is not, and so are we. And therein lies the confusion of the president of SRCM. A bhakti problem only. If it is a problem of bhakti that is there. We should know that realization is a matter of, of series of steps. We get enlightened as we move on and on. Every stage is an enlightenment. Every knot is an enlightenment. It gives us some knowledge about divinity. Here comes this particular devotion. To be devoted to the divine is an enlightenment of very high order. It is not the last, but this devotedness will continue till the end. This one realization that we are having, that we are devotees of the divine, this feeling will continue till the end, even when you reach the central region. Always we are devoted to Him. At various levels, we express at whatever level we are. As an integral part of the divine, we express. As we gain more and more depth in consciousness, still we continue to serve Him. Service to the divine continues, devotedness to the divine continues. Devotion is not a stage we surpass at any point of time. You don't transcend devotion. Please kindly note. In Ten Commandments, he says in the last stage, in which devotedness will be there. You must have thought about it several times. If devotion is connected with the third point here, then why is it that I should have at the end? Because that is our nature. That is human etiquette. We have to maintain that. We can never become totally divine. We allow the divine to function through us, through various stages. I'll take a pause here.
Yeah, we'll continue then.
Okay. The divine functions through us, even now. Even in ordinary man, also divinity alone functions. Nobody functions on his own. But the awareness that the divinity is functioning is realization. That divinity functions through all is a fact. Awareness that divinity is functioning through me is realization. Do you see the point? At no point of time anybody in this world is working independently. Every person is working only with this impulse only, or at the elan vital of the divine. That is why we don't believe in ahimsa for any creature, because it is divinity in expression, whatever expression it is. I may not understand what it is. It may appear to be horrible to me also. But interference with that is interference with God. This realization is what you get when you say that, and we see the first sentence that everywhere it is that divine. It is not a statement, not a philosophical statement. It is not a metaphysical statement. It is an experiential truth. You feel so. You feel hurt when somebody says that he is going to kill the mosquitoes, but you may still do that. But please be aware of the hurt that you have got, because it hurts that mosquito, it also hurts you. Then your consciousness has grown. If you kill it without any compassion, then I think you have not really grown at all. You are self centered. The killing might still be there. The scorpion might be killed by you, but that hurt of the scorpion will also be hurting you, as is what I want you to appreciate. There is a vibration from you which responds to that. It almost says that I am dying. You also feel so. That is why, as we grow further in the path, we find that something is not a very desirable element there. Push it aside or just go away from that. Nobody tries to kill that he may kill. Even when he kills, he knows he is hurting himself. This is what a sensitive being, which I have personally experienced. Therefore, I am telling you this. Suppose you are going to kill a rat in house. My mind will not accept it. My heart will not accept it. The reason for that is the expansion of consciousness. And you come to know that you are devoted to him, and that's also devoted to him. It is performing its duty. I am performing my duty. I have no business to interfere with his duty. This is profound understanding in the ahimsa. I'll take a pause here. Any questions? Any thoughts, sir, on this?
It's quite clear now.
Yeah.
Straightforward. That's why Sir's books, if you read, they're very long articles. So we can reflect on those thoughts for longer period. So that long period, you will be in the remembrance of the master. So to that extent, our mind gets purified and also our understanding improves. We can do better sadhana. So many positive effects happen.
True, sir. We do a lot of pest control in our house, sir. So, I mean, that's also a guilt that you feel at times.
Actually, I'll tell my personal experience. I was on 3rd of May 1975, I was in Shahjahanpur, and the 4th of May, this governor of UP was coming to Babuji's house, Mr. Channa Reddy. So he was cleaning the whole house in the room he was staying. He was also cleaning, I was also cleaning. And the chaukat, no, I mean the door, there were some dimak, that is the
termite.
Termite was there. then I showed it to him. He said, "Ye termite." Then he said, "ये तो पूरा खा जाएगा." We have to. Otherwise, your house will fall down. So he had to take measures to treat it. But then that's our duty. Otherwise, uh, you will still feel hurt. As Babu, as sir, I have seen when I was biting when I was hitting at the mosquito. He says, "Let it go. Why are you trying to kill?" And all he used to say. That's the point. We can't go beyond that, actually. I mean, it's righteousness you have to do. Like, like the Muslims, when they eat meat, they do halal, they pray to God, they think that that animal will go to God's place because they have prayed and all that. I mean, so I leave it to you there.
Okay, fine.
Each person should draw his own conclusions.
Correct.
But Babuji he says the Deemak will eat the wooden door frame and all that. So we have to treat it and all that he was telling and was doing. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Think that we have to get it. Practically, it is different. But even then, you will not kill, you will feel bad about it. I do not expect you to construct a samadhi to, to that rat you have killed. Surely not. You will feel for it. This devotedness to the divine increases the quality of your ahimsa also. One of the parameters I would ask you to keep in mind when you say you are devoted to the divine, have you got more of ahimsa or himsa with you? Artha being what it is, being a necessity for a social life, to have a family to support, you have got duties to discharge. If that is all the purpose for which you are earning, it will not interfere with a moksharthi. If the artharthi in you is sufficiently moderated and if you feel satisfied with that portion of the income which is capable of maintaining you and your family, then I don't think it will interfere with your moksha. Only when you try to go beyond your limit, when you try to talk in terms of saving concept for you and savings for a rainy day, and you go more towards artha, it means to that extent your devotedness to the divine is suffering. That is, you are not able to understand that you are a part of the divine, and divinity will never leave you. My hand is so confident that I will not sever it. My leg is so confident that I will not sever it. Then as then why is it that we as parts of divine being, why is it we feel so? Because we are not aware of our being the body of the divine. It is non-awareness or lack of maturity in devotion. I don't know if you are able to see my point in devotion. Devotedness is I am devoted to him as a servant. I am devoted to him as a part, an integral part of his being. This also serves you. The hand also serves you. Every limb serves you. Every organ serves you. And we will not harm any one of them. We will not allow anything to happen to them. We will take sufficient precaution. If this is what you are doing with your body, what will God do with reference to his body? He will definitely ensure that you are all right. This is the conviction that comes out of this is the conviction that comes out of devotion. It is not a philosophical argument. Any amount of philosophy arguing for this will not convince anybody. But if you grow into that stage of devotion, you will get it. Much worse is the case of an kamarthi. Kama is essential, restricted to certain needs, basic needs. And when progeny is there, there is no need for any more carnal impulse to be promoted.
The Vivek, you raised that point, no? About we are killing rats and all that. Like suppose you take the example of Jains, actually. They don't eat food after 6 in the evening because if they dig up any tomatoes or potatoes, there'll be germs, and then you're killing those germs. They've carried ahimsa to an extreme extent. So they put on a permanent mask because they feel that some bacteria in the air will enter them and you're killing them and all that. So it is simply too difficult in practical life to live with the ahimsa of Jains, actually. And so suppose in the jungle, the predators are there, the eagle or the lion or cheetah and all that. They are killing. So that is natural in that sense. So we can't push it beyond a certain level. Like Lord himself says to Arjuna to kill Kauravas because they stood this thing. So in Buddhism also, in fact, Dr. Keshav Reddy was very upset when I told him that Dalai Lama was eating meat and all that. He couldn't believe that he can be like that. But later on, I came to know that in Buddhism, you are allowed to eat meat only of a dead animal. You don't kill and eat it. If you're killing and eating it, that is himsa. That's not allowed.
Okay.
So these are things intentionally we should not cause harm anything.
Correct.
Yeah. But if enemy is coming and trying to harm your family, and then it's your duty to protect your life, but then you have to take to himsa to protect yourself. But then you should not have hatred to that person. That is important.
Correct.
Okay.
Sir is also saying, I mean, one of the parameters I would ask you to keep in mind is when you say you are devoted to the divine, have you got more of ahimsa or himsa with you?
Yeah, that's right.
So that level of moderation is providing for here.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. So our thinking that we should not kill pests and all that because it will amount to himsa. Each person has to decide.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll
continue. Yes.
yeah. So I'll start from the and when progeny is there, there is no need for any more carnal impulse to be promoted. That it will there. You cannot help because because you are an animal. Promotion of it is what I want you to resist. And that is why we said, please don't see your TVs, don't go for cinemas, don't see the magazines. This is because you are promoting something which should be put under control. These things can effectively be done through our point A and B meditation, not when you indulge in them. But when you make a decision not to indulge in them, not to give any promotional chances for it, and if you then attend to point A and B, it will not be any effective, I guess. A and B are only capable of bringing any miracles, are not capable of bringing any miracles. Many Abhyasis write to me about this only. No miracle is possible. You must make a determination. When it comes to dharma, you are much more in troubles because dharma appears to be similar to moksha. Our tradition has said if you do more and more of dharma karya, then you will be entitled for more and more moksha. You get liberated. But there is no equation between these two. It is in that context only I started thinking in terms of Sahaj Seva Samsthan. It is a dharma that you have to got to do. Let me do it for my master's name. You can do it in anybody's name, but why do but 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 why do we do it in the Master's name, it is that again I am trying to stress my devotion to him. I am trying to fortify myself. You understand logic of those two secular organizations. As I told you in the article of my revered father, he talks against hospitals, he talks against educational institutions, talks about all social welfare measures because he is keeping in his mind Ramakrishna mission. I don't keep Ramakrishna mission in my mind. I keep devotion in my mind. I am not doing any service. I am only trying to improve my quality of my devotion by this particular act. I am trying to strengthen my roots, which alone will make me work out of my dharma much more seriously. Otherwise, I will be wasting my time. It is not. It is not a dharma karya to go to some temples. Is it
Exactly.
not a dharma karya to go to some temples? Is it not a dharma karya to go to some rivers or do this vrata or that? All these things will come to mind. All that I will try to give a simple answer, saying I will not bother about that. And this is the true thing I am going to do. The dharma karya that we do is a dharma karya that we do. It is not a moksha karya. Duty bound we have to help people. So let us help. So that is how we can do a samanvaya of these three purusharthas. It's a great insight behind
Third Seva Samsthan.
Sahasya Samstans.
It is only to improve your devotion.
Devotion. Yeah.
So, sir told clearly, we are creating a platform for people to practice the principles of the Ten Commandments and all that.
Mhm.
So, it's more of a spiritual practice, actually.
Yes.
Okay.
Otherwise, there is no alternative except to take sannyasa. The other way is to say that I am not an artharthi, so I will not do any job. I am not a kamarthi. I don't want to have a family. With regard to dharma, one can always say he has nothing to do with the society. And in case of a moksharthi, he can go to the forest. This is what every sannyasi has done, which we are not prepared to do because Babuji says in Grihastha Ashrama itself, we can have everything. So the four concepts of a devotee, because people go to temples in such a funny way, people also go to temples for marriages. So these are all the institutions that are already there, which have recognized the need for such goals and they are catering to them. They don't say anything more. Go and ask whatever you want. He will give you that. Whether he gives or does not give is not a matter for us to discuss. The concept is that, whereas we are asking only liberation and further on, and we keep them as single goal orientation. This goal orientation is impossible without devotion. We start our training course always saying that we should have goal clarity. Such a goal, such a goal clarity can emerge only in devotion. Intellectually, we may appreciate, but you will not adopt. To appreciate a goal is different from adopting a goal. If you have to adopt that goal, you must feel this. So we have to become mokshartis. Are we clear about it? If your bhakti is towards that, then this master becomes relevant. Otherwise, any tribal deity is as good as this, and any vratam is as good as this. And where do people falter? If you look at it, when you are in a dire need for help and you do not find anybody to help you, and you seem to be getting sinking actually, and you require somebody to help. When somebody says that to you, you go to this temple, you will get that relief. You will go to that Baba, he is prepared to help you. You will go there. That is the much needed devotion to the master, and the goal is not there. And you are succumbing to several things. If you don't succumb, there are people in the house to succumb. You don't have to. Either your wife or mother or father or children, they will give you suggestions. Why don't you go to this temple? Why don't you go to this? Why don't you go and do this? Why don't you do that? I don't say you shouldn't do any one of them, but know your limits. Are you just obliging them? Are you sure about your goals and in spite of this, you are doing this? There is no point in fanaticism. Many people confuse devotion with fanaticism. It is not fanatic. When the goal clarity is there and we know the means also, and single pointed orientation to the means is there, then it may appear to be fanatic to others. But in fact, it is only determination. To be devoted to a single cause requires enormous determination on your part. You should be in a position to say no to several things. Any question anybody has?
It's more about, Vivek, it's more about reflection. You have to reflect
Yes.
on what sir is saying.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll not benefit from all these book reading sessions.
Correct.
If you allow these thoughts and reflect on them, whether we're trying to understand what the author is saying and whether we have got those determination, whether we are clear in our goal or not, whether you are willing to say no to other interferences which help you to reach the goal, whether you're so unless that one pointed this thing is there, then because of the method and because of the purification process, point A and B, and then reading his books, and then prayer and all that, then you find that the mind gets into balance very quickly because of this system. Otherwise, it's a very tough job to
Correct.
master your mind. The basic thing is the you should really feel that you want that to reach that goal. You feel that the goal is very valuable than any other goal in this world, and then you feel that I have to reach it in this life itself as early as possible, because you're not sure about our death actually, when it will come and strike you, when disease will come and strike you. So as long as you're healthy and you're fit, you should try to achieve your goal as early as possible. And then 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 you express the devotion by serving his mission actually. During this growth moment in the path also, you are indirectly spreading the fragrance of divinity, and in that way, automatically, invariably, a person who feels the peace of God inside his heart cannot keep quiet. He cannot help himself talking about God or then talking about the master and the method. Nobody can, it's not possible. It becomes imperative for that person to talk about God and meditation to whomever he meets actually. So indirectly that also happens, but then you should quickly try to reach your goal. That unless that goal clarity which sir is talking, it can be by deep analysis, by deeper thinking and thinking about the treacherousness of life, and then the thinking about the difficulties which are posed by this Adidevika, Adibhautika, Adhyatmika forces, and thinking about the difficulties of birth, death, old age, and all these things, and thinking about the political situation, and then the cruelty, and then the depraved condition of humanity, it will be impossible to find happiness in the present human society, actually. So if you think deeply about it, even then, if you become a rich man or you become famous, still you'll be discontented, because that as long as mind is away from God, you cannot escape from being discontented with life. So unless you reflect like that, then your heart will be inclined towards accepting master as the real goal of human life. It requires a lot of reflection and thinking. And if a trainer is there and if he can help you by fomenting this devotion center, then it becomes easy. Okay, we'll go ahead then.
Yeah. When we say no, it need not be harsh. The Rajasic type of devotion is what we want to get rid of in our institute, actually. Because the Rajasic thing was connected with photographs, pictures, sculptures, garlands, prasads. All these things are connected with Rajasic. The Sattvic thing is a pure, simple offering of our heart to the divine. To move to the Sattvic level of your devotion is not that easy, particularly in this country where you are accustomed to so much of worship, so many forms of worship, and so many people at your house are doing it, and perhaps your neighbor is doing it. And it is not all that easy. There is no point in getting into friction with somebody who is satisfied with tamasic or rajasic worship and saying sattvic alone he should accept, because his goal is not that. Only when the goal clarity is there, then sattvic worship is possible. Goal clarity of reaching the ultimate or seeking liberation, if it is there, then you become sattvic. All other types of goals that you've got, the artharthi, the kamarthi, and the dharmarthi, these goals, if present, then tamasic or rajasic is bound to be there. There cannot be any sattvic thing about. There is no sattvic worship possible in these planes. Either you have to resort to flattery or entertainment. Whether God hears music or not, that I do not know. But if you if if you go to any temple, you will see that you will hear only music with the only purpose of making God happy with it. That is a purpose, but that is rajasic. We are asking him to play down, asking God himself to come down to a lower plane to accept this. Yeah,
No, there's still a lot of pages. We'll finish this article today.
yeah, we'll
Or
do.
I'll read now from now onwards.
Okay, sir, you can.
I am not here to contest the quality of bhakti of Sabari, whatever she had and whatever Rama accepted, but that is tamasic. Trying to please the divine with the uchista is definitely not sattvic. That is accepted by God out of vatsalya is a separate subject. We are not concerned with it. That vatsalya can also be tamasic is what you should understand. Mother's love need not be necessarily be sattvic, or even father's love for that matter. Many times that is tamasic or rajasic only. The love expressed towards children many times finds expression through a harsh ways, which means only rajasic. Either you scold them or beat them to do something, which is all rajasic. You can also abuse God. That is what Shishupala did, and he was rewarded by slaying in a separate slaying is a separate subject, still rewarded. As Babuji puts it, devotion is not any one of these notions, but is an association with the divine. The sneha that we talk about, the friendship that we talk about, the divine saying that we can do whatever we can with him. No, it is a company. Any company with the divine is devotion. That is why 9 bhavas are accepted. Which bhava you are having? Because none of us are having all the 9. None of us belong to all the 3, sattva, rajas and tamas. All the 3, but one is predominant. The other 2 will be subsidiary. If you know these aspects of devotion, then I think you can understand your meditations much better. When you are in meditation and you get enormous number of thoughts, uncontrollable, as it were related to various fields, related to these 4 goals only, either the artha, the kama, or the dharma, or the moksha. All the 4 are there. All the 4 are interplaying in the same meditation. One after the other they come. With which attitude helps you? Which attitude with the divine helps you then? Which is the devotion you should practice? Out of the 9, which one will you do? Nothing will work. All the 9 aspects of devotion based on Narada Bhakti Sutras will not help. What helps? An absolute surrender is what we have to have. Yielding to the divine to whatever he wants. That is how the transition happens from bhakti to surrender. All these aspects of devotions are there. In spite of it, we are not able to move forward. These 3 goals are there. Moksha is what I want. These 3 things are pestering me. For various reasons, they are pestering me. I have a clear goal clarity. I want to go only to the ultimate. I want liberation. Still, these things are there. What shall we do? That is where we find the prayer meaningful. I am yet but a slave of my wishes. Because artharthi, dharmarthi, kamarthi are only wishes. I seek justifiably or unjustifiably, but I seek them. Whether I need it or not, but I seek them. I seem to become a slave. You alone can save me. So it is that bhava of the dasa, as the Advaitins say, that alone helps us. The bhavas are 9 rasas talked about does not help us. We experience the divine as Shanta also, agreed. In spite of these thoughts are there, and Babuji says, ignore them. Why should I ignore? Because I accept him as my Lord, and there is no other reason. Since I kept myself under his disposal, and he is the master, and he says, don't bother about, and you don't bother about it. There is no other ostensible reason for it, and that again anchors on the devotion to your master. How much are you dependent upon him consciously? How much of it are you dependent on him unconsciously? How much of it is only loquacious? Just a talk, you don't mean it. If you mean what you say, then that particular suggestion must work. But most of us do not mean what we say. That at least is our stage. I'm only sharing my earlier agonies. These are the stages through which we have come. It is not that easy. Devotion is not all that easy. It is not that easy to accept a master. Though everybody says he is the master and everybody says that they are dependent upon him, is he is the question. And so long as the kartutva bhava is there or the jnatutva bhava is there, you're going to be like that. That takes to the first 5 of the Adhyatmika Vidya. The jnana and the karma must be left. Kartutva bhava is connected to karma, while jnatutva bhava is connected to jnana. But bhakti alone is the bhavana that we can have. Do you understand? That is why I started with Adhyatmika Vidya with 3 things. Adhyatmika Vidya can be done through karma, action. I try to do by disinterested action, things, etc. Disinterested or interested actions, all this must go. Disinterested actions will help us in not forming the samskaras. There's a separate logic for that. But so far as devotion is concerned, if you think you are the doer, then the problem comes. That is why he says, think that I am the person to do it. It is not a disinterested action. It is trying to become a part of the divine, allowing ourselves to be a part of the divine for its purposes as he likes it. So there is no nishkama karma here. Please kindly understand, it is not nishkama karma when we say that master is working through me. Nishkama karma is a type of action when I am not interested in the results, but I will do my duty that helps us a lot. But to think that master is a person who is performing through you means that you have become a part of his. You are a limb of his. You are an amsa of his. It is a separate logic there that alone helps you to control these thoughts. That is why he gives a funny answer with some dialogue with some Westerner. He says, think that they are my thoughts. He is very conscious in saying that. We must understand to whom he was talking to. He was talking to people who are indisciplined. That is why he said that it will work for some time. Don't try this forever. But when you're abiding at the stage of bhakti and when you adopt this, then naturally understand that you get into a poise, an equipoise. Your meditation matures. Your surrender matures. So the goal clarity that we're talking about is very tough goal clarity. We are not discussing this way earlier for the only reason that we are talking to freshers. For them, there's no point in talking about all this. But the issue is what you are. What are you? First of all, analyze yourself. What are you seeking? What type of a man you are? On Purushartha Vibhaga as well as the Gunakarma Vibhaga, an absolute clarity is a must. That is why you find Gita very relevant in many sadhakas, to many sadhakas. But this analysis you have to do yourself. Whether you like food or not, whether you want food or not, there's a particular time to take food in one way, ritualistic way, called regularity. When you need alone, you eat is the wiser way. Which are you? I think I've put enough for you to thinking. It is for you to think. With this, we come to the end of this topic, devotion, written by Sir, actually. A lot of points for thinking, actually.
Yes.
Thought-provoking. Otherwise, the mind tends to go into complacency and slumber. So this will wake you up, actually. Anything, Vivek, or question? I mean,
No. If anybody has any questions, we can otherwise.
first of all, I think actually, sir, when he was sitting to me in the second or third sitting, he gave a 3 hours talk on how to do introspection, how to study your own self. We are all human beings. Unless we know ourselves thoroughly, what are your desires, what are your drawbacks, what are your prejudices, and what are your ideals and what are your present condition. Unless you analyze yourself, uh, I mean, I don't use the word analyze, observe yourself. You don't make judgment about it, but then observe yourself and then note down in the diary. Analysis can be done later stages when your mind becomes purer and all that. But first you should be able to observe your own feelings and own likes and dislikes and own self-criticisms you may be doing. You could be your own worst tyrant. You may keep on saying that I'm useless abhyasi, I'm not doing regularly. All that also you have to observe. If nothing is there, then we'll meet next Sunday then.